India, home to some of the most iconic and endangered animals on the planet. Creatures like the Bengal tiger and the Asian elephant all share this subcontinent with over 1 billion people. What most people don't know is there's an animal normally only associated with Africa living in a remote part of this country. This part of India is domain to the king of the jungle, the last surviving Asian lions. My name's Adam Thorn. I'm an animal expert, adventurer and explorer. I journey into some of the most treacherous and formidable environments known to man, in search of the most rare, dangerous and downright bizarre creatures this planet has to offer. I'm in Sasan Gir, a small town mostly consisting of farms and mango plantations. What makes this town so unusual is that it is nestled smack bang in the middle of lion territory. The Gir Forest is the sole home for the last population of Asiatic lion. This lion subspecies once spread throughout southeastern Europe, the Middle East, and much of India. However, due to hunting and habitat loss, there are only about 500 left. In the past few years, reports of these lions leaving the forest and establishing populations hundreds of kilometres away from their natural home are becoming more and more common. My mission is to find out why. My first point of business is to talk to the locals. These people live close to these animals, and if I have any chance of seeing these cats, I need to get as much information as possible.
We just want to see lions, that's all.
The locals tell me I've come in the wrong time of the year. Because I've come during the winter, there is plenty of water in the forest. This means the lions will be scattered throughout the area, unlike during the dry summer, where they are never too far from a permanent waterhole. Spending only a small amount of time in this forest, it was clear that this habitat was abundant with animals. Anything from small lizards, birds and insects, to large quadrupeds. Samba, a large deer which can weigh over 500 kilograms. They are a common food source for tigers in central India, but are also on the menu for lions. As more days pass in this forest, I've found no more signs of lions. Whatever I'm doing isn't working, and I'm starting to lose hope. I've seen other large animals, like the golden jackal, the nilgai, and the majestic black buck. But the rare Asiatic lion is proving to be just that. After more days of searching, it becomes clear. If I have any chance of finding these lions, I need to change my tactics. This will be my last day searching this forest on foot. Tracking lions from a vehicle will allow me to travel further into the area and cover much more ground. By the looks of it, there is plenty of water around, which means the lions have probably dispersed deeper into the forest, so that's exactly where I need to be. We've seen lots of chital, samba deer, and cattle, which are all major food sources for the Asiatic lion. So there's plenty of food here. Hopefully we find some lions shortly. After driving a short distance, I get my next glimmer of hope. The sound of chital deer in distress. It's a pretty eerie silence, and all you can hear is the chital alarm call. But everything is dead still. And it's quite creepy knowing that there is a big predator in this area. The chital are very upset with something. Alarm call. Yep. We're gonna go check it out. Less than 100 meters up the road, I found out why the chital were freaking out. Finally, after a full day of tracking and driving through this forest, there is our reward, the Asiatic lion. There are about 1,600 critically endangered giant pandas on the planet. Now there are only 400 of these lions on this planet, and you can only find them here in Gujarat. I'm less than 10 meters away from one of the rarest and most endangered large carnivores on our planet. And it's a female, it's a lioness, and she's big. It's an absolute privilege to be so close to such an amazing and majestic creature. Man, I'm stoked. Just as I'm thinking this day can't get any better, I'm gifted with another surprise. Oh my lord, look at her. Oh. For the next half of my mission, I need to find lions outside of this forest. I need to see for myself just how far away these cats are roaming. During my time in Sasan Gir, I've made contacts through some of the locals. These people have told me they may know where to find these stray lions. It seems getting in contact with these people is nearly as hard as getting in contact with the lions. That's an answering machine, actually. Not one of my contacts have answered their phones or replied to my messages. It did this before, but it actually had a ringtone. Just as I decide to call it a day, I'm approached by a family who have some good information. It's on a farm right now.
Yes, maybe. They killed a buffalo.
It killed a buffalo.
So they will come at night.
Okay.
It's final.
Right. Is there any chance somebody could show us or take us or? Yeah?
He can show you.
Yeah? You can show us?
Yes. And देखा दिया वो? He will show.
He'll show us? When?
कितना लगे? You come to it.
After 9 o'clock.
After 9 o'clock.
You
Okay.
can come to it with us. See,
Okay.
this is Indian food.
Oh yeah.
You want to eat it?
The pakoda.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, eat it.
After
Home program. So you are coming there.
They want us to have dinner with them, and then they'll take us to a farm where a lion apparently is. So maybe they're fattening me up for the lions. Yeah. We're driving through busy towns, main roads, and through farmland. Probably the last place you'd expect to find a lion. After nearly an hour's drive, it's clear we're getting into more rural land, and we are now a good distance away from the Gir Forest. So we're about 40 kilometers away from the protected area of Gir Forest. We've just caught word from one of the locals that a lion has been spotted on a nearby farm in one of the villages. So we're heading there now to see if we can catch a glimpse of an Asiatic lion. After another 20 minutes in the car, we've reached our destination. We are now about 60 kilometers away from the Gir Forest. So we've just got out of the car. We're literally in the middle of a village, someone's farm, looking for these cats. So we're going this way now. The only thing we have for protection is a stick. It is pitch black, and we can only see whatever the torchlight hits. There is definitely a feeling of vulnerability walking around in pitch darkness with a lion in close proximity. We're walking around for about half an hour now, looking for pud marks in the sand, and looking for this carcass as well. So,
Apparently the lion still is in the area, it's just a matter of finding it in the long grass.
I spot a flicker of something tawny coloured in the long grass. Then, our torchlight illuminates something very special.
I'm about 20 metres away from a female Asiatic lion in the middle of somebody's farm, eating a buffalo that she's caught. That buffalo belongs to one of these people that own this farm. She doesn't even seem to mind that we're here. And she is big. What a stunning animal.
After observing this lion for a little bit longer, I think I can make out a small mane, and I'm fairly sure it's actually a young male. Determining that this lion is actually a male may have just confirmed my theory as to why they are leaving their natural habitat. This isn't happening because of a lack of food or water in the forest. This is purely a territory issue. This male lion is at the age where he is starting to roam and look for his own females and territory. It seems the Gir Forest may not be big enough for these cats.
Oh, he's up. Yep, definitely a male. Yes. It's not a female at all. It is a male. A young male. Oh, wow.
My mission in the beautiful Sasan Gir is complete. The Indian jungle was a setting for Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book, and I can definitely see why. After spending 2.5 weeks here and seeing the large amount of biodiversity and prey species for these lions, I've come to the conclusion that there is no shortage of prey in this forest. In fact, it has the largest population of ungulates in any protected forest in India. So the food sources are here, but the territory isn't. That's why these lions are in fact moving outside of this protected forest and closer to people. After being so close to these animals and seeing them in the flesh, they certainly are the kings of this jungle, and they are in fact the last kings of India.